one thing I do have to ask people, and if we get more of an audience, I'm not saying today, just in general, I tried going back to January 26th to get that small portion that I missed when I go back for the manifest. I cannot hear people, they're mumbling, so I couldn't add it on the thing because I couldn't hear what they were saying.
They need to start counting up front.
Not too worried.
I just figured I'd let you know that I couldn't hear it on there. I couldn't hear it.
I'm wearing my hat.
All right, so let's do the highway stuff first, so you guys can get back out there. So what's our? By the way, the roads. I want to give you. And if there were people here, I would call for a round of applause. The roads have been great. Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean it. They have been terrific. So, and the snowfall has just been ungodly.
Yeah, this week has been unreal.
Okay, so anyway, so where are we?
As far as roads go, we've been in early or stayed late 10 times that last pay period due to just storms.
Yeah. You do what you have to do. You know?
Yeah. On February 3rd, I went and scraped a lot of the bridge edges with the backhoe where the wings can't get it off.
Oh, okay.
You can't tell now, but they were nice and wide and cleaned off. So
okay.
I'll have to do that again.
Where was that at?
I think you're going to get a break after today. There's no more snow in the forecast that I saw until what, Tuesday?
Yeah, something like
6 or 7 days.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Under fleet maintenance, on the 31st, I brought the wood chipper into the shop to go through and try to see if we could get that started. Just go over it a little bit.
Yeah.
It was one of our slow days for a change. We couldn't get it to start. We had the battery charger on it. From what we could tell, without really tearing into it, we think it's something to do with the switch on the key.
Oh yeah.
Because you touch the solenoid with a screwdriver and
It'll
the
turn
starter
off?
spins. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the wires gets juice with the test light on the switch, the other one doesn't. It's something just we gotta look into.
Okay. Can we buy a new key switch for that?
Yeah, those are really easy to come
Okay.
by.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the engine does turn over all right, it's not lagging or...
It doesn't, if the engine itself wouldn't turn over, the starter would just spin. I don't think there's enough juice in the battery to get it to actually engage the motor.
Wasn't those batteries bought recently?
For the wood chipper, I don't
No.
think so.
I don't think so.
The back
They were dog dead.
We haven't bought anything for that.
Okay.
They never got to it this summer.
Yeah.
Well, I did. Today we went and bought the battery tester we talked about at Napa on sale for $30.
Good.
Wow.
So like
Nice.
So
they need to know exactly what they are.
exactly. So that was just a side note.
Yeah.
On the 2nd, we replaced the cutting edge on the plow of the 99 International.
Okay.
That went pretty good. That plow's in rough shape, but winter's almost over.
How much is a new blade? It's the blade, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the carbide is, I believe, it's like $400 something,
Yeah.
and then the cover plate, which is the big piece of steel,
Yeah.
that was $180. But I ended up finding a pile of carbide buried under a bunch of lumber.
Right.
So
Right. Well, let's, beginning in the springtime when highway departments are starting to unload some equipment and stuff, let's see if maybe we can pick up, if we need anything, we can pick up some used stuff.
yeah, I know the head plow. I don't know how long you want to keep that truck for, anyways. But the plow on that has a couple like patches in it, and the last whoever I don't know. It must have been a couple cutting edges ago. They let it get into the moldboard a little bit, like a quarter-inch from the bolt hole. That much it wore in. It'll still hold, but it's in the drill pattern on it's supposed to be 12 on center, and it's not. We made it work, but it's really rough.
Is that the Chevy?
I think the
No,
spring,
it's
what we should do is have them go through all the equipment so we know exactly what shape everything is.
I think that's a good idea. In the springtime when, you're just kind of waiting for the mud to dry out and all that kind of stuff, if you could give us like kind of an inventory report of the equipment, list the equipment and tell us what the shape is and what you think, whatever repairs are necessary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Then we know what we're working with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas right now you come in and you don't know, have the idea what the the shape of the equipment is.
Everything runs and drives.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under equipment, the spreader chain came in for truck 4.
Okay,
That's at Donovan Equipment, just to pick up whenever. I was gonna, if the weather's good, I gotta go down personally this weekend down to Concord anyways.
okay,
So I was just gonna swing into Donovan's and pick it up on my own time. I'm gonna be down there.
okay, all right.
The Chevy Kodiak, I called Courier and set it up to get the brakes done on it. They couldn't give us a quote because it depends on a couple of things, like how many lugs it is, what kind of caliper style it is, and if it needs front or rears at all.
Yeah,
And then also what type of brakes it is and whether it needs drones too, or if they can be turned, there's all kinds of factors.
So I'm gonna drop it off Monday because the weather's supposed to be good.
right.
And they said regardless of what we need for parts, they can get it overnight. Because I had them look it up before we made any decisions.
So we're probably looking at several $100s there.
Truck that 4, I think it
I
was.
wouldn't be surprised.
Excuse me,
Oh,
Adam's a truck.
1,500.
Truck 2,
Less.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right,
It's a rear brake, so
Yeah.
heavy.
yeah, well, it's brakes. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, driving it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
It doesn't make noise, but you hit the brakes to the floor and it still pushes you. There's not a whole lot left to it.
Okay,
So is it a hazard to drive?
I mean, I still drive it, but it's just something to be aware of, It's not metal on metal or anything, but you can tell it's worn down.
I was just thinking about accidents.
And
But I think it's,
okay,
I have a couple of other things I want to go over real quick.
all right.
I forgot the list with me, but I found a list of town roads and what class roads they are.
Oh, yeah?
And I believe I want to print it out an RSA for you guys about class 6 roads.
I
Right.
did, I don't know if it's in the file.
Yeah, I got it in my box. Yes.
Basically,
I know I sent it to you.
2 roads that were taken care of are class 6 roads. Listed on the sheet I have. I don't know where it came from. It seems very old.
And you're plowing those?
Yeah, and under that RSA, we're really not.
You're not supposed to,
be.
which roads are those?
Cemetery Road, which,
Really, that's a class 6.
and I really want to talk about that road specifically because you can't turn around any of our trucks there.
Okay,
Even the small one, Kodiak, to plow their turnout.
yeah,
I got stuck because it's so tight and the edge of it drops right off.
okay. Huh.
And but
What's the other road?
the other one's Cummins Pond Road. That was listed as a class 6.
The one up to Artie's house?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Really? All right,
The RSA said something about liabilities and things like that.
right. Well, the
Not
RSA is,
spending the money on something you're not
Yeah.
supposed to, right?
right, yeah, the RSA is right, but what I would question is the accuracy of the list. I wonder what the source of the list is.
That's the thing. It's clearly been punched up. It looks like a typewriter.
Okay, all right, so
That era.
doesn't Jay Lake have a list of the roads?
That's where it came
that
from.
way,
Oh, that-
yeah.
oh, that's where it
I
came
made
from.
copies.
Okay. Let's see if we can't get an updated list or find one somewhere, because I know that Cemetery Road and Cummins Pond Road have both been plowed for a number of years, and
That cemetery road, the only thing, like I said, you can't even turn trucks around,
Right.
especially now with all the snow.
yeah,
So you either have to back in and plow out, or
Yeah.
plow in and back out, and you're right in that corner at the bottom of the hill.
Right.
And I get the jitters every time I do it, honestly.
well, maybe we can, in that particular case, maybe maybe we can have a discussion with Beth and Ryan, they're the only people who live down there.
That's the thing. They're living off the grid, and I mean, I know the taxpayers want to get the most bang for their buck, but
Yeah.
it's sketchy backing in and out.
Okay.
of that hill.
Well, first let's find out the accurate designation of the road, and if it is a class 6 road, if legally it turns out it is a class 6 road, then let's talk to Beth and Ryan.
And like, I don't want to be like dropping the roads and pissing people off.
No,
but it's just
I understand.
something I found in one of our
No, No, I'm glad you did. Because this is the kind of thing that, you know, it's benign at the moment, but all of a sudden it could get contentious, you know. Commons Pond Road, that surprises me that that's a class
Me
6.
too.
Because that's a pretty decent road. But Artie's the only one who lives up there,
Money
right?
can do it too, from what I understand, the past couple of
Yeah.
years.
Okay, let's find out about the proper designation of that one too. Also, the other thing with class 6 roads is not only is the town not supposed to take care of them, but I don't think other people can either. I mean,
I'm not sure.
all right, we might have to, I might check with the municipal association about that. I mean, maybe there's some kind of, if it turns out that Cemetery Road is a class 6 road, maybe there's some sort of special situation that applies and we can have Beth or Ryan plow it out, or I don't know, you know, somebody privately plow it out. Because a pickup truck with a plow could do it.
Yeah, and the Kodiak's the smallest thing we have, and I mean, I got pictures on my phone where it wasn't stuck bad, but I couldn't get out. The axle was hung up from
Okay.
it. It just, you can't, I remember the email where she asked about the turnout getting plowed out,
Right.
and we've tried it the best we can to at least get a car in there to park.
Yeah.
But it just,
Yeah.
with all the snow now, and the bank on the cemetery side, you can't plow up the bank anymore.
Yeah, no, the cemetery, yeah, yeah, okay.
There's a fence in it, still a fence around the cemetery.
Yeah,
Up on
Oh,
the
be careful
top.
not to knock it up
yeah,
Yeah,
and try and put snow up towards it too.
yeah.
okay, all right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, Town Line Pond Road, what is that classified as?
I think that's a class 5.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you get into going past where the Russells live, and they technically live on Pleasant, it's
Pheasant Lane.
Pheasant Lane, that's
Yeah.
right. Then it becomes class 6, just past their house, but it's all weird. Okay, all right.
So does the town take care of that to a point?
Yeah.
Two-lane driveway, right? Two Pheasant Lane.
Yeah, up to the Russells.
And then we go right onto that road and just turn around out there, right?
Yep, at the top.
Yeah.
It's like a little cul-de-sac there.
Okay.
The other two other things I had was the mailbox situation going on.
Yeah.
I've spoken to Paul very nicely and said, we all need to pay more attention to things,
Yeah.
try to word it nicely, and, we went yesterday and went and shelved most of the roads. So
Yeah, yeah.
put the snow, and while we're over there, any mailbox that we saw that's been disturbed, we tried to fix the best as we could, whether it be setting it back in the snowbank,
Yeah.
putting the post back, just to make an attempt at it to please people.
I think,
We still don't have a power drill, so it'd be hard to really fix it, but everything's
right.
able to get mailed for the
Right,
next week.
okay. Well, that's what matters the most. I think, I'd like to review the mailbox situation at our next meeting when we actually have some people here who want to talk about it. You and I have talked about this, and I think the most important thing is just to acknowledge what's happened is ASAP with the people. They just want to know that somebody noticed, pretty much. I think people are pretty understanding that, no, you can't, pound a post down in the frozen ground.
Yeah,
I liked your idea of a post in the bucket of sand. I think that's a good idea.
we've got quite a few 5-gallon buckets, so people
Yeah.
are really adamant about it. We got lumber in the buckets at the shop, we can make something work.
So I was thinking that at the next meeting, we can have kind of a public discussion about this, develop a definitive plan, and then post it on the town website and say, look, this is how we're dealing with mailboxes in the winter.
That sounds good.
Yeah. I told you that there was a whole thing on the listserv about this with road agents from all over the state chiming in, and towns that have populations of 1,000 or more where there's a lot of mailboxes. They have pretty restrictive replacement policies, and as you pointed out, the state is like,
Tell me
it's
how.
tough luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just tell them it's in our right of way, sorry.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen.
And I was surprised by the number of towns that said, well, if the mailbox is closer than 8 feet to the edge of the pavement, it's fair game. And I thought, 8 feet? that's quite a distance,
Yeah,
you know?
Well, like River Road, that bit's got a bank on it, and you can't get 2 feet from the.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
so I thought, we're a small town, we don't have that many mailboxes, plus you don't, it's not like you hit
Yeah.
4 dozen of them, so I think we can afford to be generous with the policy, but that can be a broader discussion. Okay.
The only other thing is I put in a requisition form for salt.
Oh, yeah, I saw the email from,
We've got about 1 spreader load left at the shop.
okay,
I'm not planning on needing the salt, honestly, but it'd just be
okay.
a little bit of insurance. Like if we run low on sand and have to order more, we need salt to mix into it.
Okay. All right, how's our sand supply?
We're probably 3/4 through the pile of that. Your father was saying we're into the old pile of sand at this point, which is still quite a bit. I mean, I think there's 700 yards.
Yeah?
Should that get us through the winter?
As long as we keep getting snow, I think we'll be all right. If we stay away from the freezing rain,
Yeah.
because that really eats it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, more the snow, heavy snow, winter snow now.
Yeah, and that's pretty good because you can get away with sanding once or twice instead of 4 times a day, and
Yeah.
just do kind of the hills and corner kind of stuff.
Well, let's hope we don't have to order more sand. If we do, we do. But I think having the salt keeps.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, we'll go ahead and order the salt then, I think.
The requisition form in there.
Okay, all right. Okay,
And then this is Sam, you've all met.
Sam,
The guy.
well, welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Okay, it's well, Evan can give you the whole story, and it's worked out great since Evan came on right after Christmas, and I'll tell you, I mean, we've been talking about all the snow and all the plowing and stuff, but once the snow's gone, there's a ton of work to be done. There's God knows how many culverts to replace, and
Plenty to stay busy.
and ditches to be ditched out, and tons of stuff.
Brush to be cut.
So we'll be busy.
Awesome.
So I'm really happy that you're joined with us, and your first day will be
February 27th?
okay.
One thing I wanted to bring up with you guys, he said he'd be willing to do it is on some of his days or nights off, come in and kind of ride with me and Paul and get the ball rolling.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
If that's all right with you guys.
That sounds fine with me. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
Cover him for that, right?
yeah, it will.
The
I mean,
one
if
thing
we-
I did want to state, because I forgot to bring the paperwork to give to him under the circumstances, so when you get a chance to come into the office to fill it out, just so it's all done before you start, so I get the insurance and stuff rolling would be
Okay.
great.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if we do, if any of us has a ride along,
Oh, okay.
we're covered. Which I've wanted to do, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
Anytime.
Yeah.
I always recommend it.
Yeah, it's
Cool, that's nice to know.
Yeah. It helps keep me awake at night. You gotta ride it, honestly. So.
well, it would be really helpful for you to get familiar with the roads. I mean, we only have 27 miles of roads, but they're pretty quirky.
Yeah, that's what we were kind of thinking, is getting riding with each of us for a little bit and
Okay.
figure out where he's gonna plow, and Paul would like to get back into the smaller truck and
Okay.
that kind of thing.
So after the 27th, is Paul just going to come in on an as-needed basis?
Yeah, he'd like to stay on the part-time side of things and like basically come in to plow, and
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
Okay.
And then come summertime, when we get busy, I'd like to use him to haul material in the truck and that kind of thing,
Okay.
which
So-
would still be,
Or are you doing to like 25 hours a week then?
so I think 20 would be nice. I mean, especially in the summer, we're doing 410s.
Right.
Having 2 days, and then the other 2 days, there's plenty you guys can do, but especially doing culvert work and stuff, it's nice to have a truck driver there to get stuff that we need.
Yeah. Can we kind of give a tentative approval to that, pending the budget situation?
Yep.
Or,
I know plowing, I've been using your father with these big storms, and it helps with the fatigue a lot, having two
Oh,
people,
yeah.
100%. So,
I believe
as
it.
far as plowing goes, I'd really like to if I can have 3 guys for the winter, I really like it, just a plow.
Okay. We'll put the word out too about, you still interested in reclining chairs to sleep, or are you going home?
I mean, we try to at least go home for a couple hours at night,
Okay.
because we all live close enough.
Okay,
so.
all right, that's good. I had one other idea to think about. Especially during a storm, but just in general, people just want information. They just want to know what's going on. And once we get the voicemail set up at the highway department, I was thinking it would be great if, when we're having weather events, when you come in, whether it's 4 in the morning or something, just leave a message saying we're going to start plowing the roads at 4:30 a.m. And we'll be covering them for the next 2 hours. We try to have everything done by the time people are going to work. After that, we'll be doing X, A, B, and C. And then so we can have people call in, and if they want to know what's the story, they'll find out. I got a call about a week ago from a guy. You tend to leave a little more snow on the road before you start plowing than previous road agents have done, which is no big deal. I trust your judgment.
Yeah, I only do that for like bigger, like this and a lap. If you get a foot,
Yeah.
there's no point in chasing it by the inch. The way I look at it, you're going to be out for 24 hours.
Right.
Once you start, you're out, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So,
So the snow was beginning to build up. I don't know. There's probably 3 inches on the road or something like that. And this guy called me. He says, "What the hell? When's the plow coming on?" And and I calmed him down. I said, "No, don't worry. It's going to be right there," and stuff. But that's a case where if somebody says, "God, the plow hasn't been by. Look at the snow on the road, and the plow hasn't been by," call in, and there's your information.
No, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. So, and then in the summertime, if you are out, you guys are out on some culvert project on River Road or something, you can just leave a message like that. We're going to be working on River Road all day, and if it's not an emergency, leave a message, and you need to catch me. That's where we are. So, anyway, that was a thought I had.
Yeah, I think it's a good
Yeah,
idea.
like I said, people just want information.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, anything else about highways?
Evan was saying that you had a lot of certifications.
So yeah, I have my Class A with up-to-date med card, and I also have I'm certified heavy equipment operator. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I brought my diploma with me today. I don't have any of the paperwork. It's all been locked away in a safe since I got it in 2009. And I don't know if I moved it or what, but I called NCCER, which is the certification company, and I did that last week, and they're mailing me everything.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay,
So
great.
I'll have it all within 7 to 10 days, and
Okay.
more probably like 20. But
Okay, that would be great. So we'll,
Absolutely.
what we'd like to do is make copies of it then and just put it in your file.
yep, 100%. No problem.
Okay, fantastic.
Then you can come see me.
Okay. Hey, a CDLA, that's not an easy license to get.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I went out to CR England out in Indiana, and I did.
Really?
Yeah, I did their.
Oh, that's the
school.
trucking company.
It is. So you work for 6 months over the road. I ended up working for almost 2 years for them because they pay for the schooling, and it was wild. It was a wild experience.
You were driving big 18-wheelers?
I was. Yeah, 52 footers.
that's so fancy for me.
It's a lot of life, man.
With the Class A, can you do the double? Can you drive the double trailers, or does that take a special
I can haul trailers, yeah.
double trailer? Because like on Interstate, especially like on Interstate 90, I see them with
The logging trucks?
double
I
trailers.
can't do doubles. That's a completely
Is that a
different.
special license?
It is.
I'm just curious. That's all.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So,
I
okay.
didn't have the big trailer we had.
Yeah. So
Well,
the big trailer, when the truck has to go in for repair.
Yeah.
The truck, yeah.
Load it on and bring it out.
Okay. Well, fantastic. That's great. And you'll get to know our quirky little town. Well, you've lived in Rumney.
Yeah, my entire life. I know Dorchester pretty well. I just don't know a lot of the smaller back roads, but I'm completely looking forward to this. I'm very
Okay.
excited.
Okay, good. Well, we are too. So it's been a major transformation of our highway situation here for the better. So it's been great. Okay, I'll let we'll let you guys go and
You got to get work.
at least the snow's dry.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
This is 2 feet of wet snow.
What?
I had to run into Plymouth and I got scared on the way home. I got almost to the top of Cookies Hill, started sliding backwards.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
Needless to say, my hands were shaking, my heart was racing, but I'm like, nope, I'm going.
Our little Ford
CDL
Focus,
private,
you know,
don't let off the gas.
It's one of those high mileage cars, so it's got no weight to it or anything, and kind of it's miserable in the snow. So, anyway.
All right.
All right, okay.
We'll see
Thanks,
you
guys.
later.
All right, we'll see you around. Sam? Forward to work. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay,
Great seeing you. I'll see you guys later.
okay. I guess there's no need to go over the announcements.
You think?
Unless, does Larry know about the tree?
I don't know.
You tell me
Oh,
about the donation of the tree?
I have a tree donated for the common.
This would be our permanent Christmas tree.
Yeah, maybe a permanent Christmas tree, but it's also going to be a memorial tree. And Jay Legg is donating that tree for us.
Yeah.
He'll dig it up, he'll haul it, highway will pick it up and plant it. If that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, that's great with me. My only comment was is to make sure you talk to.
I will be meeting with them
Liz and
next
Sherry.
month. I will be meeting with them next month
Okay,
in March,
okay, all right, great.
prior to the election.
Well, you know, it's,
So,
they have a proprietary interest in the historic district and, you know.
right,
And there's some history with, there was a previous tree.
right,
Yeah.
which was supposed to be a memorial tree that
Right.
got cut down.
Right, and
Um,
then there was there was a replacement, I think, planted after that one. Anyway, they know the whole history.
Right.
So.
And then I'm going to try to get a piece of granite slab donated to the town. And then we're going to take donations from whoever we give them to do a plaque with, to recognize all the people that's passed in Dorchester. So that's the spill of that.
Okay, that's great. Well,
So
when
you
we
can-
have a regular meeting, I'm
Yeah.
going to have you make that announcement
Yeah.
again. But just so
That's done.
Larry's up to date. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to the minutes. If you guys had a chance to read the minutes?
Yep.
I have.
Okay. All right. I make a motion that we accept the minutes of January 12th.
Second that.
Okay. Any discussion or corrections or anything?
None that I've seen.
Okay. All in favor?
I
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of January 26th.
Second that.
Okay. Any corrections or anything like that?
Nothing that I've seen.
All right. All in favor?
I
Okay, gentlemen, the budget.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've spent a considerable amount of time with it, and here's our situation. You know, we had a few tweaks and things when we did our budget workshop and added a little bit here and took away a little bit
Yeah.
there. But that was, for the most part, pretty much nickel and dime.
Right.
There were a few categories where we reduced the budgeted amount by a few thousand. However, insurance is going to jack way up. In fact, it's almost double. Wow. Because of our maintainer. But the fact of the matter is, we can't get a maintainer without providing benefits.
Right.
That's just the reality nowadays. You know, with the unemployment rate in New Hampshire so low, there's no hope of getting a part-time, maintainer. So, then the other,
So Sam's gonna be full time.
Yeah.
Sam's gonna be full-time, yeah.
What? Because he was talking about some about 20 hours.
That was for Paul,
Oh, for Paul. Okay.
Yeah.
but we're going to see what the budget's at.
Right.
Yeah.
The other one is that we had last year budgeted about $38,000 for in the executive category, and that includes the administrative assistant salary.
Okay.
It includes our stipends, and we wound up spending close to $48,000. Well, so I just made the budget item $48,000. I said, well, okay, I want to see where this triggers out. And when I added everything up, subtracted where we cut, and then added in the insurance and a large bump in the executive budget category, we were, the total was $24,400 more than last year's budget. So, last year's budget was $447,000, almost on the nose. I think, without a whole lot of complaining, we can probably get a budget passed of, let's say, 450, 452, maybe. But we do need to make some cuts.
Okay.
One thing that I thought we might be able to cut, and this is a funny way to show confidence in Evan, but I have great confidence in him and his judgments that I think we might be able to cut the highway budget a bit. If we took $10,000 out of the highway budget, that's a 5% reduction.
Okay.
It's 210 now.
Right.
If we cut it back to 200. Last year, by the way, in 2016, now we didn't have Evan's salary, but
Right.
we were paying part-time, and
Right.
we also were doing a lot of repair work.
Right.
Last year, the highway, we spent $170,000.
Okay.
So we came in well under budget. I thought, well, that might give us a little bit of wiggle room, and what we could do with Evan, if depending on how much money we spend in salaries for this winter, we might be able to, play around with it a bit. Also, I think that he is going to be much smarter about buying parts and getting repairs done than previously. That's what I mean by, it's a funny way of showing confidence in him, but I have great faith in his judgment about this stuff.
Yeah.
So that was one thing, one area, but that's just 10,000.
Right.
That leaves us 14,400 over. So, where else can we cut? Anna's been doing a lot of work, and she's been working, an average of close to 30 hours a week?
I'm trying to
Here
keep
for
it
the
at
past
30.
3 weeks, yes.
Yeah.
You guys asked me to keep it at 30, I'm trying.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's been 32, 34.
Yeah.
Well, that's when we have the
Right.
meetings.
Right.
Right. So I'm wondering if we could trim the executive budget back from 48,000 to maybe like 44, and see if we can't save $4,000 in some expenses.
Okay, so is any hours going to be cut?
Well, I wouldn't say we would cut the hours, but I think that if we had Anna, like in the summertime, work maybe 20 to 25 hours a week or something, when things are slower.
Yeah.
Okay.
That could save us some money.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to take, a paycheck away from Anna, so I'm
Right.
trying to make this. Also, me personally, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but me personally, I'm willing to forego my stipend. That's $2,500 to help with the budget. Now, the reason why this is so critically important in getting our budget close to what it was last year is that both John Franz and Mike Sampson from Canaan emailed me with the figures of next year's school tax.
Yeah.
The school tax rate for Dorchester is going to go up almost 24% next year. Now,
Which is $6 and something.
no, it's another couple of bucks per thousand, so it's going to go. This year it was $9.66, I think, or $9 and something, and next year it's going to be over $11. And that
That has something to do with the 4,000, with this deal with Minneapolis.
no.
Right.
That, by the way, that figure is based on strictly an ADM only,
Right.
contribution by the town. Well, I'm sensitive to the fact that we've got people in town already who are feeling the squeeze, and so no matter what we do, the tax rate's going to go up next year. If we raise the town budget much, it's going to go up again the following year, and then people are really going to feel the
Well,
pinch.
can we take any from a fund to sort of cut those taxes down? Or is that just a one-year fix again?
I think that's just a one-year fix. One thing that we might consider doing is not putting any money into, last year we put 45,000 into the bridge fund?
No, 24.
24, okay,
Yeah,
that's right.
It made it 40.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Well, that's kind of a shell game with money. It doesn't have that much impact on budget. So, I mean, it's just moving from this category to that category. So, anyway, that's kind of where I am with budgets.
Okay, we had talked about maybe starting a fund for paving the roads. We
Yeah.
talked about 24,000 put in there.
Right.
Could we cut that down to say 10?
Well, no, because that's part of that shell game.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I thought that too. Another area where we might consider cutting is last year we had budgeted $8,000 for legal expenses, and we spent not quite 5,000, and I budgeted 6,000. For this time around, thinking that, you know, I had my fingers crossed that legal expenses regarding the highway department and stuff would be curtailed, but we still have some stuff with the Blum property, and then there's the Fairpoint litigation. We're gonna need some legal help on both of those. So, you know, and then if the town does get sued for wrongful termination, you know, we'll have to deal with that. They have, by the way, I checked into it, they have 3 years to file a suit.
Yeah.
So, you know,
You do have to.
they can think around with that and keep us all on tenterhooks.
I don't think they're gonna do it though.
I don't think so either, but that's based on just
Right.
a feeling, you know, which is, you know, you don't want to budget on a feeling.
No.
And so even if we knock down the legal portion of the budget from 6,000 to 5,000, well, that's just $1,000, you know. But every little bit helps. So we need to come up with a final budget to present publicly, and that would be like the website and
Right.
stuff like that, by February 22nd, so
Okay.
1 week. So we can't wait until the next select board meeting on the 23rd to do it. But if you guys want to think about it and look at the numbers, I'll send you the information that Beth sent me.
Please do.
The Excel spreadsheets, those are the things that we were working with during the budget workshop. I can tell you what I've done, and if you guys see any other areas to help with, that would be great. And we can do this in email without kind of a reply all. But, and then maybe like on Monday we can call a special meeting and, you know, for 10 minutes and say, well, this is what I'll do.
Yeah.
Does that sound all right?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I wish I had better news about this, but I don't. And, you know, I mean,
So, does the school, does that seem like that's something that will level off here, or is it something that's gonna continue to increase?
that's a good question, Larry.
Because it's like right now, we can't plan for it because we don't know what it's gonna be.
No.
That concerns me.
Yeah, it concerns me too. Now, the towns and the school district could keep voting down the school budget, but the school district's already committed. I mean, they've got contracts that they're committed to. So I think the deal is that if you vote down a budget, there's it goes to a default budget.
Right,
Right.
which is like $200 and some odd $1,000 cheap,
Less. Right.
than
Right.
what this is.
Yeah. So.
Is this one that's at $1 million?
Yeah. So, you know, voting down school budgets is one way to slow the increases slightly, but I don't think it'll stop them. Because some of the, you know, the contracts that they have with like teachers and stuff that have built-in cost of living adjustments, and stuff like that. So, I don't know.
Can we refuse to pay the increase?
I don't think it works that way.
Yeah, I wish, you know, and you know, listen, I've been talking to people about it. I mean, you know, as you know, there's been a lot of discussion about school budget stuff, and, you know, several people have come up to me and said, well, hell with this, let's just join, you know, the Plymouth district. And I said, well, be careful what you wish for.
Because theirs is a 50-50.
Theirs is a 50-50, and also we'd have to buy our way out of the bond.
Yeah,
So,
it could be a bundle.
about $100,000. So, you know, for a town with a budget of less than $500,000,
Yeah.
that's
a lot.
yeah, that's really a lot. So, I don't have any really great ideas here. I sure would like to increase the town budget in some categories. I mean, it pains me to even consider trimming the highway budget. I mean, I would much rather add 10 or even better, 20 to that budget, and so we could really get kind of a crackerjack operation down there, rather than have it, you know, all spit and baling wire. But I don't see how it can happen.
But we gotta find out a way to try to get some more revenue.
That's right. That's right. And I think the only way we can do that is we're going to have to identify expenses that we have in town that we might be able to cover with a grant or something. You know?
Yeah, I still have to talk to Artie about the infrastructure grant.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's for building, like a new building for the office or whatever like
Yeah.
that. Whatever, it was applied for before.
Right.
Vermont
Right.
got it, but it was gonna buy the highway operating truck,
Wow. Okay.
dump truck.
Right. Also, ask Artie, he knows this stuff. How did we have FEMA pay for, we had FEMA pay for like sand for a couple of years?
Because that was through a FEMA grant.
Right, and it was because of some emergency situation, or?
Yeah, Jackson Drive and right up here.
Okay. Well, how can we do that again?
I wish for a storm to come and wash out some.
No, I mean, not that gravel is the, you know, sand and gravel are the biggest expenses we've got, but hey, every little bit helps.
Yeah.
And then not only that, we're gonna have the Providence Road issue to deal with.
Yeah. That's,
You know, that grant don't start till March,
right,
so,
right. So,
but we have the money in the bridge fund to go ahead and get the ad out for closed bids for the surveyors.
right, well, which I think we should do. I mean, we should, yeah, move it along in there. So
So let's have things ready with what we can do.
Right.
Right.
I
We're
imagine,
making an attempt to try and get.
Right, and then the DOT money, it will look better for us to get as much as we can for that.
I imagine that at town meeting, no matter what kind of budget we come up with, I imagine at town meeting there will be questions about, well, why is the insurance expense going to be so high? And why do we have to have a full-time maintainer? And my response there is, it's the only way to get a maintainer. You know, we have to have a second person in the highway department, and
That everyone can depend on.
that's right, and we can't, there just aren't part-time people available. You know, every other town is offering fully benefited,
Yep.
you know, full-time, fully benefited spots for maintainers,
Right.
you know.
But we need to base it on what we need
Right.
for our services, not on other towns. So
Well,
there's other towns of different sizes and stuff, so.
yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. It's just that, what I meant is that we're in competition with other towns for that labor pool, you know?
Yeah.
That's what makes it difficult.
Yeah.
And I do think, there's plenty of work for a full-time maintainer. As a road agent?
There's more, the roads definitely need,
Yeah, I mean, there's more than plenty.
there's a lot of it that isn't, it won't be expensive, a lot of expensive materials that we need either.
Right.
So a lot of it's just manual labor
Yeah, exactly, that's right, like the ditching stuff, that's just,
and the brush and.
yeah, somebody's gotta do it.
And we have a lot all the culverts already,
Right, right.
so
So,
gravel, big pile of gravel, so.
yeah,
I meant to say something when Evan was here. Evan brought something to my attention. He found a receipt for a chop saw,
oh, yeah,
and there's no chop saw down there.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
He's supposed to be bringing the receipt to Anna.
Okay, all right, I'd love to take a look at that. I'd like to see the date on it and where
The
it came
date
from.
where it was bought at.
Okay,
And once
Chop-
I
chop
found out
saws.
that information,
yeah, chop saw's a
I
nice piece
found
of
out if the
equipment.
town paid for it or whatever.
Yeah, okay. It should have at least part of the credit card number on the receipt,
Probably.
yeah.
But if he bought it at Home Depot, do we still have the Home Depot credit card?
Mhm.
All right, well,
Yeah, that's-
let's find
It's
out.
no good, but it's my desk.
It'd be great to have that down at the highway yard.
Yeah.
They're wonderful for cutting angles.
Yeah.
All right, so I will send you guys the budget information and have you look at it over, like over the next few days.
Okay.
And we'll just kind of communicate back and forth about this.
Now, I have a question there.
Sure.
Jack has dealt with budgets a lot.
Okay.
Would it be an issue if he sat down with me to go over it?
No, it's a public
Well, no,
discussion.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
That would be fine.
Because he saved Crowd his first year $5 million.
Well, I would be in favor of that.
But he got a bonus of 50 grand.
Okay, all right, so that's our budget situation. Is there anything else you guys have regarding that?
Well, we could cut, we cut Health and Human Services 5,000.
Yeah, that was a big one. We cut that one 5,000. I can't remember, there was another one we cut by 5,000, and I can't remember what. Oh, I know, we dropped elections, we dropped 5,000. Because we had 4 elections in 2016, but there's just one.
Just one next year for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is well, this
Yeah.
year, yes.
So that was helpful,
Yeah.
but,
It's still not enough.
yeah. And then, the other things,
Question,
yeah?
the money that was allocated to paint this building
Mm-hmm.
and the surveying,
They'll be rolled over.
Yeah.
if we
Roll out, that's right, yeah, it's not new, so,
okay.
that's I think it's in the buildings.
And that's gonna be spent, that's already been,
What I'm gonna send you guys is I will send you 3 Excel spreadsheets
Okay.
that Beth sent me. One is the 2016 budget,
Mhm.
just plain simple. One is 2016 budget and expenses to actual, so it shows you all those budget categories, what was budgeted and then what we actually spent
Okay.
in each category. And then, because we have this silly budget where the categories are about as broad as they possibly can be, I'm going to send you her profit and loss statement, which shows the actual expenses in every general ledger account.
Mhm.
And so you can, it'll say like, roads and highway has, 10 numbers. And you can look and see how much was each one and what it added up to. And, maybe if you do a really close examination of that, you'll see some areas where, oh wait, we're not gonna spend that this year. Maybe we can cut it back here.
I know the repairs probably won't be as much. I don't
I
think.
like that, we count on the old equipment. we
Yeah,
have.
I really crossed my fingers with that one.
Well, there's an infrastructure grant that we can apply for.
Yeah, right, and maybe.
That would help.
And if there's like a USDA rural grant that we can get for a public building to do some work on that, then we
Right.
should, rather than spend money. But anyway,
Yeah.
we'll look at all this.
I mean, we may have to pay a portion, but it won't be nearly the amount.
Right. Okay, so that's it on the budget.
Okay.
All right, okay, new business, proposed warrant articles. There's the one from the planning board, this regards the solar panels.
Yes.
And you said that Bob Green, the chairman, asked that the select board endorse it.
Yeah.
Okay, any discussion about that? I guess, let me do this formally. I move that the select board formally recommend the planning board's warrant article regarding solar panels. And this is to keep them untaxed.
Correct.
Untaxed, okay.
Well, you have to fill out a form to keep them untaxed.
Right, okay.
As of now, they are noted, but they're at zero tax. In 2019,
Right,
they will be taxable.
okay. So, but it's
So
up,
word that again, Chair makes a motion to what?
I make a motion that the select board recommend passage of the planning board's warrant article regarding solar panels. Now, if we have a second, then we can get into the discussion.
I'll second it.
Okay, great. This would be a way of, I mean, if solar panels suddenly become taxable, people aren't going to put them up.
Right.
So this is a way of encouraging solar panels.
Grant, the town needs more tax money, but the government is giving all these rebates, so why should they be taxed for it? You know,
I think the tax money that the town would
just pennies.
it would be pennies.
Little pennies.
Yeah. So, any further discussion about it? There? No? Okay. All in favor of having the select board recommend that passage of that warrant article then? Say aye. Aye. Okay, great. All right, the other two warrant articles are ones that we've kind of discussed casually. I will need to come up with the actual formal language, but one is basically to make the town's code of ethics, which is on the website, a binding document. So what that means is if a town official violates the code of ethics, they are subject to disciplinary action,
Yeah.
including removal from office.
Yeah.
So this would include, the code of ethics. You should read it.
Oh, I already have.
Yeah, I read it too. The only qualm I have about this is, it says that, town officials need to be honest and
Right.
blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's clear enough. But it also says things that needs to be courteous and treat people with respect.
Right.
That's a little fuzzy, How do we handle a situation when somebody says, well, Steve Berkeley didn't treat me with respect? And I'll say, I did too. And they say, well, no, you didn't. You violated the code of ethics. You said this to me and this to me in this tone of voice, and that wasn't respectful. And, I want you to be removed from office because you violated the code of ethics.
That's a gray area.
It's a gray area. And
There's a lot of them in that.
yeah, there are. So I am willing, as interested as I am in making the code of ethics binding, I'm willing to kind of withdraw this for the time being and sort of maybe creating sort of not this town meeting, for the next one,
Next year.
kind of a subset code of ethics that would be binding,
Okay. I'm for that.
The next selectmen's meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the next town meeting, not to vote on this town meeting.
Not
For next year.
Yeah, for next year. I just think we need to, again, I've read that code of ethics backwards and forwards, and I do think it's a really good document, but again, I kept having this voice in the back of my head going, be careful what you wish for. You could be opening a can of worms here.
With certain people, yes.
Yeah, that's right. And also this is definitely one I want to fly by the lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And because I'm sure that if there's any kind of worm, and if there's even a single worm in that can, he would say, watch out, this could really
Can we strike it?
Yeah, so we can just not do it.
No, I'm going to strike that section out.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can't pick and choose.
All right. Then the limit of offices and appointments, what my thinking there is that I wanted to have a warrant article that any one resident could not hold more than 2 elected or appointed offices at the same time. Some people are going to interpret this as the anti-Cookie Hebert warrant article. And I do have to admit, I mean, we got into a bind. She held so many offices,
Yeah.
and we had, when we had the big problems down at the highway department, it created, there was a ripple effect everywhere.
Yeah.
But more important than just singling out Cookie or any resident for that matter, I think having a limit of offices and appointments is a way we can encourage more participation and more, more people get involved.
And I agree.
So,
The only question I have is, will people,
yeah, that's
because the thing is a lot of them we run dry on, and we have
yeah,
a hard time trying to find people for
Yeah,
them.
no, you can't get no one to run for selectman, now you have three.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, there's three of us.
3 candidates.
Myself, Craig Vesey, and Margaret Cross-Lene.
Yeah.
Courier. I don't say Cross. I don't
So
think-
that was my thinking there.
Can you word it to where with special exceptions?
And what would those exceptions be?
If we couldn't find anyone to fill an office. But then we're defeating the purpose.
Right.
Well, that's why I said we have a hard time filling some of them, so it will eliminate work.
Yeah. Again,
Not that they don't want to do it, it's just,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Again, this is another one that I wouldn't mind putting on hold for a year until we
Okay.
can kind of pin it down. And
So
I,
this one.
this is a perennial problem for small towns, is getting people to fill the slots.
Right.
You know, and the smaller the town, the harder it is, and we're a pretty damn tiny
do
town.
we have a deputy treasurer?
Nope.
No.
See,
Yeah, there's one right. Yeah, exactly. We don't have a supervisor of the checklist right now either.
We have
Damn Karen died. You know what the hell was she thinking? You know, she left us in the lurch.
supervisor of the checklist, we still have Margaret and Sean.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, great.
But if Margaret by chance becomes.
But Margaret can't be
She can't be
supervisor.
both.
She can't be supervisor of the checklist on the election day this year.
No, she can't.
Yeah, 'cause she's right.
And the deputy treasurer, I did talk to NHMA before I forget, finally. And no, I cannot, obviously, because I can write checks.
Right.
You 3 cannot, because you are selecting and you do the manifest.
Right,
I just want to
right.
confirm that.
Right.
She highly recommends, and the only way to go is to get a deputy treasurer, even just to fill in for the short bit of time that we have right now,
Yeah.
in case Artie's not available.
Right. Which.
just somebody that will take it and
Yeah.
sign for it. And
So let me. I'm going to recommend that I hold that one off too until we kind of
Okay.
rethink the whole deal.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds
All
good.
right. But I'm still thinking about both of those.
Right.
All right.
I did write hold on this.
Okay. I mean, I have no ideas about a deputy treasurer. Do you? Major market
Could an auditor do it?
No,
No.
I don't know.
that's what I
Has
just
she ever
said.
done anything like that before?
She was auditor for,
Oh, she was?
she's auditor for years and years and years. You could ask her if she would be interested in doing it temporarily.
Just until the
But would that be a
Just-
conflict?
Mhm.
No.
nepotism?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
She would become a signatory on the checking
Decision on
account.
deputy treasurer would be up to her.
Right.
I called the bank to find out if it was Artie and Karen. That's it. So now it's just Artie. So
And Artie would have to approve that, right?
No, just us.
yeah, I think just us.
Select board.
Yeah, for just a temporary appointment, and then after the election, Eleanor Miles is the one running for
Right.
treasurer, and assuming that she wins.
We'll vote against her.
What?
Nobody's running against
We'll
her.
vote
Oh, yeah.
against her.
So assuming she wins, then we can work with Eleanor to find a deputy, a
Yeah.
permanent
Somebody
deputy.
can still write in.
All right, you want to answer
What, say?
I can ask her.
Anna's gonna
Okay,
lose first.
she says no, I understand.
Well,
But,
she was auditor for years and years and years and years and years.
okay,
But they're not there pretty good, so she
yeah,
let something go.
okay.
I can ask
just until, March, just until town meeting, actually. So until March 18th. All right. Okay,
Okay.
that's that. Old business, the time clock.
Okay, I'm trying to find the sheet. Time clocks, we have located 2. One's $140-something and one's $150-something.
And that's, okay, and this is per unit,
Yes.
okay? And how exactly do they work? That's not a time clock.
I washed them, first aid center or something.
Yeah.
I've seen
I
that.
assume they're wired in and they come with 200 cards each.
Oh, here we go. So,
They may just plug it.
okay, so the employees then would each have a card
Yeah.
that they would punch in?
Yeah.
Okay,
Evan would be in charge of highway and Anna
Okay.
would be in charge of the office.
okay. All right,
We would have 3 at highway clocking in,
mm-hmm,
and they would be 3 at the office clocking
Okay.
in. So Jess would have to go clock in before she started working here,
yeah,
vice versa.
right.
I get just one question.
What?
Now, highway during the summer, I mean, they'll be working out places, how are they gonna clock out and clock back in for lunch?
We would, Evan would subtract that. And initially.
Okay.
Okay.
And then where it's Evan, the boss, he could have one of his other guys to initial right beside him.
Yeah.
If there's any, I mean, it's not that I don't trust him, because I would trust that man with my life.
Yeah.
And I hadn't known him that long. And that said a lot.
Well, my feeling about the time clock thing is this. I think it's a really good idea for the highway department. Over the years, there's been questions about, are those guys really working? Stuff like that. So it's a great way to have proof of that. And
Especially if we get audited by,
right. And Evan seems dappy. He thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
So I'm less enthusiastic about it for the office. However, I think if we have it at highway, we should have it at the
That's
office,
right.
and then it's across the board and
treat everybody the same.
everybody the same. That's
That's right, that will, also, the other thing I was gonna say was, if you don't know how to do it for just one, not the other.
I agree, and
That wouldn't be fair.
I can really see the purpose of it for highway clearly. So I think we should do it across. Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So which one would you guys want to go with? The $150-some odd one or the $140-some odd one?
Well, if there's no difference, basically,
Basically, there's not.
then I don't know what, buy the cheaper one.
Well, yeah, that was my answer. So, now, highways would be charged to highway out of their budget.
Right,
Right,
The office would be charged out of administrative.
right. Yeah.
That's
right. Okay.
exactly, that can.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Right.
so we should probably make that 2 separate purchases,
Yeah.
just to keep it.
Right.
Okay.
So, how
Well,
much?
you can actually do it all on one. When I get the one single invoice and it says 2, I just list 1 and I put the GL for highway and then I get it in 1 GL for office.
Oh, okay, that's
So as long as she has a separate GL, she can
So,
do it separate account.
how much do we have on that credit card that you can order it?
You can order it tomorrow. There's plenty on there.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, Anna, you want to take care of that?
So I make a motion that we purchase the time clock for highway and the office for the employees.
I'll second it. Any further discussion?
Yeah, any further discussion? Thank you.
And separated.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, plus
Yeah.
separate the bills.
Just so that she writes it down. It's-
Yeah, she will. She's pretty good at that.
Okay.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay, cool.
Would you order these tomorrow, please?
All right.
Thank you.
That's great.
145.
Yeah, the cheaper one.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
And just so you know, Mike and I did discuss, like, for the times that I work from home or
Right.
whatever,
Oh.
he's gonna initial it, where he's
Yeah.
Okay.
liaison with the
all right,
office.
okay, that's
Because
good.
I asked how that would work as well,
Yeah,
or when I have to go to like the training courses and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
very
Okay.
simple, just, we'll write you in, I'll
Okay.
initial it.
Well, I just wanted them to know that we did
Right,
discuss it,
right.
because I
Okay.
wanted how it would work.
excellent. All right, Mike, you're up again about the security system for Iowa?
That's gonna be put on hold, there will be a presentation given next Thursday on
Okay,
this.
all right. Same thing with the video recording?
Jack's trying to work the kinks out,
Okay.
he's having some issues,
Okay.
that's gonna be held.
Okay. Well, I would be happy to assign Angela Smith as our social secretary, especially since she's not here, but I don't think that's fair. So we'll hold that too.
Okay.
I'd love to send her an email saying, "You're in charge. We voted it." Okay, so we'll hold that for the next
Angela
meeting. Angela Smith?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Blum property.
Okay.
Okay, just an update on that. Attorney Mancini rejected our offer. He thinks that he's going to win in court. And so I spoke with Walter, this was about 10 days ago, regarding, and he said, well, I feel differently about a litigation than Mancini does. I think that the town would win, but there would be legal expenses. So he said, you've got two choices. One, you could follow through and we go through the litigation and see if we can wring every nickel out of this. Or we lower our amount that we will accept. Right now it's 45,000. Remember, he offered 20, so this would be kind of a counter offer, I guess.
Yeah, he offered 20, we went back to 45. Now, if we come back with one, he could come back with another and try to get it as close to 20 as possible.
Right, and we could
Keep going up.
The thing is once we make lower offers, we can't go back up, right?
Right,
Unless we
Right.
say no, walk away and go.
that's right, that's
Right.
right. So we could say 40, and he says 25, and then we say 37, and he says 28. And, so I guess what we really have to think of in mind is what is the lowest amount that we'll accept, and is it worth accepting that amount rather than going to court?
That amount started out at what, 56,000 some odd dollars?
Yeah, and we agreed at 45,
We agreed at 45, so there's 45.50.
so that's 11.
That's $11,000 that
Discount.
we would have been losing, which would have probably
Right.
been about the 12 or 15% that was
So-
added.
Walter have an idea what it would cost to litigate it?
I didn't ask him, I should.
Because that makes a big difference.
Yeah, okay.
Before we
You
came.
can win the battle, but
Lose the war.
lose the war.
Yeah, I know, if you win, but it costs you 20,000 in legal fees.
You're no further ahead.
Yeah, no
And
further.
We're in
you
the
have
hole.
time against you too.
Okay,
Still in the
all
hole.
right, I'll ask Walter what his, kind of ballpark estimate would be in legal fees, and then we can take this up again next meeting, okay?
Sounds good to me.
All right, okay,
Okay, there was something.
all right. Okay, update on the dog warrant, not here, okay. Okay, to be signed. You know what?
There's one other thing that we need to discuss.
Oh, sure, okay.
First aid kits.
Oh, yeah, I see this.
There's not a first aid kit at the office.
Okay,
There's one highway either, I don't think.
Actually, there are.
There is?
there is.
I
An
checked.
eye wash station and everything?
Huh?
An eye wash
I
station?
washed there, it's one of those, you just buy the stuff and refill it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I asked Evan, because we could buy 3 for under $100, but his is stocked and filled,
Okay.
so highway doesn't need one.
Well, let me ask you this,
What?
are there first aid kits in the trucks?
I asked him that, and he says there's really not room for them in there. All they gotta do is slide them behind the seat.
Even just a little box with
Right.
band-aids and bandages and stuff, so
Right.
it doesn't get hurt.
actually, they should be
Should be
in
some-
the trucks.
And fire
They should be.
extinguishers.
Yeah, I think so too,
Do
yeah.
they have fire extinguishers in the trucks? Because they're supposed to.
I don't know.
Let's double check that too.
Yeah, let's find out about that.
Do you wanna handle the fire extinguishers?
Sure.
I mean, because you are the
Yeah,
rep.
and, you wanna check about the first aid kits about the trucks then, too?
I mean, we could get the real small, cheaper ones for the trucks at Walmart for like
Right.
probably
Right.
10, 12 bucks.
$10.
Right.
You know, that's something that you can probably pick up.
We can get the ones with the turn, the rubber turn.
Right.
Like $15.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking of those guys working on some culvert project.
Yeah.
Slice themselves right open something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's right, and, you
You
know,
know, because the safer that we make our equipment, and if anything happens, the insurance
Yeah.
company says, well, you didn't have this, you didn't have this, you didn't have this.
that's right, yeah,
You know, but we definitely need one at the office.
okay,
Darlene's the one that put in the request for this.
okay.
She's been trying for the past 3 or 4 years to get it, and we
Really?
kept turning her down. And we need one here.
At that town hall?
Yeah. Just in case someone falls, gets hurt here.
Okay. So there isn't one here?
No.
Jeez.
From what Darlene was saying, no.
Boy, sometimes.
And these are like 31 and change inches.
Well, why don't we get two of them? One for the town office,
Okay.
and one for the town hall, and for the trucks, let's see what kind of space we're dealing with, and we could find something small or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
That
so-
sounds good.
I make a motion that we purchase the first aid kits for the office and the town hall.
Second it.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Mhm.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay.
Anna, would you order those tomorrow, please?
Okay.
Thank you. You got your work cut out for you.
When do I not?
True.
I'm not bored.
So we'll get together Monday,
Yes.
Libby regular meeting.
Yeah,
So we can turn these things by then, we can vote on them then.
yeah,
Well, make a motion to vote on them.
yeah.
What is it?
Okay.
We are having a meeting on Monday. What time?
Let's do it at 6:30, our usual one, and let's do it at the town office.
Town office.
Okay,
To finalize the budget?
finalize the budget.
Finalize the
So
budget.
meeting Monday, 6:30,
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Whatever you want to say.
And on our information request forms,
What?
I forgot to put that on there.
information request forms, she's got added.
Oh, okay.
You guys should have a copy. I did talk to MHMA, and you know where I said 5 copies, she said we may want to up that up to 10 or so. So we got it for 10
Okay.
without being prepaid.
Oh. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's, remember, this is about the photocopies, prepaying if you're gonna make
Yeah.
it, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Yeah, all right.
So do I need to make a motion to accept?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make the motion that we accept the new request forms for information to be effective as of now. All in favor?
No, give me second
Oh.
first.
Second.
I'll second it.
All, any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's
That's for
accepted.
the first one.
This is for, what's this for now?
That's the first aid kits.
Okay.
Okay, those are fire protection contracts, same amount.
I think you're the only one who hasn't signed.
Have I signed?
I think so.
Oh. I don't know, we signed something over there.
That's for the first aid.
Oh, okay. Already signed that. That's your first aid kit.
This is, I guess fire protection
Yeah, and see,
contract.
this is 6380, however, I put plus shipping question mark.
Oh,
because
and
I-
transfer
the whole-
station.
Sometimes they tell
Right.
you
Okay.
what the shipment's gonna be.
Okay.
This doesn't even have a form inside it.
It's still under.
Oh, I know.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Remember
there's no-
that?
that's why there's no total, because they actually did not
Okay.
ship.
Yeah,
That's
so
fine.
I think
It's
it-
money they get back.
That's fine.
yeah.
And
you wanna hold off on signing?
Yeah.
this? Okay,
I
alright,
mean, okay,
okay,
Hold on one more.
let me check on that thing.
okay, I'll leave this with you then.
Okay.
Alright.
What are we holding off on, Steve?
The Rumney transfer station contract, 'cause Larry thinks that they're selling their recyclables and getting money back, and shouldn't we get?
Actually, I talked to Sam about that.
Who?
What they, Sam, not Sam,
The guy who runs the.
yeah.
Sonny?
Sonny.
Sonny.
Yeah?
What they do, they take all that, they sell it, and then they like divide it out in between the towns. You don't get the money back, it's reduced on your fees of paying them.
Okay.
Well, how much is our fee?
I have,
Well, he has the paper.
I thought Steve said it was the same as last year.
No, that's the fire contract.
Right, contract?
Yeah.
Alright.
Right, well, how
This
much-
is sep- okay. So
What's
these
the
are two separate
transfer?
things, then.
Yes. Okay, that's the fire protection contract.
Is it 6,000 something?
It is, let me see, not sure of expenses. It's $25,364.
Right, but then they break it down into 4 payments.
Yeah, $6,341.
That's a little, I think, I'll double check in the office tomorrow, but I believe that's a little less than what it was, but I'm not, don't count me on that yet.
Yeah, that sounds pretty close to what it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, if it's anything, it's only a little bit less.
Okay, all right.
now, I have a question.
Mhm.
Could we start doing the aluminum recycling ourselves and put the money back into the town? Instead of a
I think it
percentage?
would be, I don't think it would be cost effective, because you have to store it all, you have to have a collection for it.
Oh, yeah, that's true, that's true.
So,
Okay,
that's,
you,
So by the time we had highway go and collect all the cans from everybody every week, and
it'd be,
it
no,
wouldn't
no,
do us any
they
good.
wouldn't get any work done.
well, we'd have to pay somebody to collect it.
Yeah.
And by the time you put what little money you got from that stuff towards what the time they spent doing it, then
Yeah, I
hey,
think so.
hey.
Well, the reason I was asking is a compactor down at Highway.
A metal pump?
That was bought years and years ago. I guess whenever the town was thinking about doing it. And it probably needs a lot of work done to it.
Yeah.
So is that something that we could probably sell as junk? Just
The
to get rid of
compactor?
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
or maybe put it out for someone to buy and,
I wonder if David Conkey would be interested in that.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, why don't we wait until the snow's gone? and
Okay.
we can maneuver it around a little bit.
Okay.
I don't wanna put any money into fixing it. because Aluminum prices are so low and they're not gonna come up.
Now, I had a conversation with Evan the other day.
Uh-huh.
He would like to try to put in the septic system,
Right,
and yes, we do have a porta potty there,
right,
but they really don't have water to wash their hands with and stuff like that.
right.
And I haven't got there yet, give me time. And then we got the issue at the office.
I'm curious.
And I still have to talk to Artie about that $10,000 that supposedly was put back or put into the building fund or something to drill a well for the office.
Okay, yeah, okay, find out about that. Then what we can do is, once we get the budget passed, then we can take a hard look at the individual breakdowns and see if we have, actually, as you guys look at the expenses this time when I send it to you in the Excel spreadsheet, see if you don't see something under roads and highways where we might be able to,
He's sending them to Anna too. Some of them I can't open, some of them I haven't been able to open, so if I can't open them,
I got
Anna,
one-
so that she can open them for me.
I got something that I couldn't open, so.
yeah, okay. You have to have, to be able to open an Excel spreadsheet, you have to have Microsoft Office, so if you don't have it,
I don't.
I'll have
That's
So
why money.
if you send it to me, I'll print it and put it in the drawers.
Okay, all right, I will. I'll send it to you in the morning.
I think there's something.
She could print it out and put it in my cubby, then I can grab it.
Okay, that's great. It actually, the profit and loss statement is a pretty interesting reading. I mean, you see exactly where you spent the money on what.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we spent, for example, what was it, $2,000 on fixing
Building,
the
yeah.
on the building?
Yes.
No, $2,000. Well, so there's $2,000 that in this budget we could spend toward a septic system. Now, I know that won't cover the whole expense, but, maybe there's something else that.
The design is gonna cost about $1,200.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay,
If it's a 1,000-gallon tank that they have to have, that's $1,000.
okay. All right, so that's 2,200.
It's 2,200.
For the money though, I would think the thing is you have to get them pumped out so often, and if you went with the 1,200-gallon tank, you could pump it less often and save money on pumping, so.
Well,
that ain't that much
if
more
your
money.
system is working right, you won't have, like the one I have, I'm not gonna have to pump that thing for 6 years.
Like,
They recommend every 3 to 5,
yeah.
but the way mine works, every 6 years.
Yeah, but they don't have a lot of grease and oil and stuff coming off the hands going into it, and
Right.
that's gonna affect that.
That's
So,
true.
Whereas we don't with regular houses.
Well, that's where you put this other little trap thing, I don't think what it's called. It's another box prior to the septic tank that catches that.
Yeah.
That's what I dealt with in Allenstown.
Do you have a septic at your shop? Do you have
No,
you
no,
have
no,
a
no.
shop? Okay.
Okay, and then if the state will encourage you to go with the Enviro system, that's $8,000. But they still don't say you can't go with stone and pipe.
Yeah.
Okay, stone and pipe, you're looking at 35.
I got the chambers, the plastic chambers.
Right.
They work great.
Right, so I mean, you're talking about $3,500 there.
Yeah.
So we're talking about $4,000, give or take. That's with Evan digging the hole.
Okay, $4,000 to $5,000?
Yeah.
you said? Okay.
That's with us doing some of the work. I mean, once it's approved,
Did you sign that one?
that's not what.
He had the Warren Wentworth ambulance in his
Oh.
hand, I didn't know if he
Yeah,
signed it.
they've signed it.
That,
I
they
need
just,
to sign
And
that.
then, how much does it cost for us to have that chemical toilet heater too?
Oh, that's right.
Because you got that could be going towards the system instead of going.
We would save that money
you're
too.
talking about the portable?
Yeah.
110 a month.
110 a month? So that's $1,300
Yeah.
Right.
a year.
So in 4 years you pay for your system.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's
One way of looking
all
at
right.
it.
Yeah.
All right, that's not bad. And it just astounds me that we don't have hot water down there.
Well, actually, it's all set up,
But
but it's just not connected
okay, there's
yet.
Now, the only thing is, I haven't been willing to jump ahead and do all kinds of upgrades and stuff with the highway department, because at the moment, we gotta see if we can make it efficient enough to keep having, full highway crew in around.
Right.
Is it making down to just not having a big highway crew? I mean, especially with the taxes going up, the school and stuff, that keep going up and up and up and up.
yeah.
I mean, you gotta have a certain amount of money to run a highway crew. So in 4 years, where we gonna be with it is why I haven't been so willing to spend so much money on adding to the building and doing this, doing that.
Right.
So I'd like to see where things are gonna be for a couple of years.
I think that's makes some sense.
So I wouldn't wanna jump ahead and find out, geez, this really isn't financially feasible to
Right.
have this. Maybe we're better off just to have a highway guy who farms out everything and oversees everything and make it cheaper that way. I mean, there's different things to look at.
Another thing is that the equipment that we already have, that we already own, needs some investment and maintenance,
Mhm.
all of it, and that's necessary.
Yeah.
And that's,
Right.
in fact, it's critical.
And that's why I'm saying
Yeah.
that we really need to see if it's gonna be feasible for us.
Right, and there's some question marks about what those expenses are gonna be.
Right.
You know, we don't know what the grader bill is gonna be, and
Might have to put it on hold.
well, hope not.
Yeah.
So I think Larry makes a good point that, as much as I'd love to give those guys a, you know,
I would
running
like
out
too. I would love them to have,
yeah,
have everything,
but I think our first priority, we have to prioritize these expenses at highway.
Right,
And our first priority has gotta be having running equipment,
right,
you know, in good operation.
right. But we need a sink down there for them. That's a health thing.
And if we have a sink, then we have to have water.
and we have to have sewer, right? So it's a vicious little circle.
Yeah. Well, okay, well, let's do this. Talk to Artie and find out where that tank is.
Well, but see, that was already
But that's for the
Allocated.
office.
for the selectman's office to drill a well.
Oh, to drill, well,
Right.
the office.
So I don't know if, I don't know if we could put a warrant article in, if the money is still there to reallocate it.
I don't think we can.
I don't know.
I think it has to be spent on what it was originally
Okay.
put
Yeah, I
by
agree.
the DRA rule.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so too.
See, that stuff I'm still working on.
Yeah.
Okay,
And the only reason why I'm mentioning this is because of the fact that, with the expenses, I lost my train of thought, is, if that happens.
can we do this? Can we, we know that we have some equipment repair expenses.
Right.
Can we deal with those, and then when we get to like the halfway point of the year, you know, July 1st, see where we are with highway expenses and kind of assess where we are with equipment,
I'm on board with that.
and then say, oh, it looks like we can't afford to spend, you know, $8,000 here on,
Right.
you know, whatever. Because it's.
Because you also want to try to put in a pole barn. 100-foot one.
Because the way,
Sand shed.
yeah.
Yeah, the reason why I was mentioning, I'm not jumping ahead with building stuff was because here we are talking about having to cut stuff back, and then we're talking about cutting county back and stuff,
I know.
and then we're jumping ahead with other expenses, so that's why I'm trying to.
Right.
The other thing too is,
I was just bringing this
Oh, yeah,
to
no.
you guys' attention, so.
Yeah.
as much as I want to do everything for the highway guys, and you know, and you know, starting with running water, and that, those expenses on the facility,
Mhm.
not the equipment, but the facility, really benefit two guys.
Right.
The money that we spend on equipment benefits the whole town.
Everybody, right?
You know, and
Right.
you know, if I'm having to make some difficult, terrible choice,
It's
it
gotta be
has to be the town.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
the most people,
You know,
yeah.
you know, and I think Evan understands that, and you know, it's
Because honestly, to get that building completely finished,
oh,
the
it's
way it should be, I know we're gonna be looking at least another $50,000.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so too.
But if we can get this infrastructure grant,
Yeah,
there we go.
if we can find a grant to help us out,
And then we can get,
yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. So, I agree with you. I think it's $50,000.
Oh, at least.
At least to get that facility up to where it should be.
But my main concern is that we need to worry about the roads and the condition of the roads and getting the roads better before worrying about getting crowded in buildings and stuff. That's my main concern.
And see, with the infrastructure grant,
Yeah,
that only is infrastructure in the town for buildings and trucks and.
yeah. I agree with that, I noticed, I
Yeah, yeah, and
know
now,
for that all.
I mean, and then they may be more out there that'll
Right.
help with roads. I don't know.
But as far as spending taxpayer money
Oh, yeah,
on the building before working on getting the roads in
Right.
better shape, that I don't agree with.
I understand that.
Yeah,
So,
so.
and I even agree with that.
I signed it because he said that he,
Okay.
signed
Alright.
that they already deducted from everything.
Okay,
so-
all right.
Okay.
Okay, you want to sign that one then?
Yeah, I guess I'll-
And then I think that's all.
Well, I need to bring something else to you guys' attention.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Okay, this is all signed. Okay. And that goes signed. These are all signed.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. Okay, what is it?
Everything that I dealt with Jay Lay
Yeah,
has been settled except one thing. He was accidentally given his checks, not by me. I went back to him to talk to him about doing an affidavit, which Bert had emailed him,
oh, yeah,
and he said he's not doing no affidavit.
okay.
Okay, but I accidentally gave Evan Jay's checks, and I accidentally gave Anna their checks, so
All right.
they're,
Are you sorting that out?
I'm trying.
So,
Lay is refusing to sign the affidavit, and the email that I had forwarded to you guys, which I also printed if need be,
Yeah.
states the fact that his payment is accepted with the affidavit where he cannot produce, you know, he needs to do an affidavit. Him and Brandon need to do separate affidavits, actually.
That's from Bert.
From Bert stating the fact that they did sold, or they gave away X amount of permits on, and, you know, certain, there's 2 different months.
Right.
It's supposed to have permits for 2 different
and
things.
Jay won't sign that affidavit?
No, he's supposed to write it
He's supposed to
and
write it.
sign it in front of Darlene so it
Yes.
can be notarized, but he's refusing to write it. Because technically, he's supposed to have the copies of the permits before it's
Right,
paid.
okay,
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
okay.
And I can't send the state, actually, I brought it, you asked me to bring it.
yeah, Artie still has to fill out a section on it. It's gotta be filled out by the treasurer.
Does,
He has to sign it, and I'm not supposed to send it back to the state without Artie's signature, and Artie is not gonna sign it without his affidavit.
Well, we ain't gonna get our money back.
okay, now, hang on a second. Is Jay only refusing to write the affidavit and sign it, or, I mean?
Jay said he's not giving up anything else, is what he told me. So, I had.
But there's nothing to give up. I mean, it's just a statement,
Right.
it's just a statement that he doesn't have the copies of the permits anymore.
He is more or less, if we can't take his word, that's it.
Well, but I think we say, Jay, we're happy to take your word for it, it's the state that's requiring it.
So I will be contacting Bert again, and I'm gonna have a conversation with him. And Anna had printed out something for me, which I took to Jay Lay.
Yeah, okay. Well,
So whenever he goes and buys his equipment that he's gonna be buying, he better present
right.
receipts or whatever,
Oh,
or he's not getting paid.
right, I think he will. It's,
I mean, it's like anybody else in town that, I mean, the highway employees, the town employees, they all have to put out a sheet for what they do.
right, right.
And also what they pay for, I mean, it's, what's the problem?
Well,
I didn't know that.
I think he's just been so frustrated by this whole payment
Yeah.
tango, and,
Yeah.
and it's, you know, there's issues with arguing on and on and on. And, you know, Jay's had it up to his eyeballs with it, and so he's
Thank
digging
God he's
in,
been patient with me.
he's digging in his heels and saying no more. I think, Mike, if you present it to him, say, look, this isn't, you're not giving up anything, you're not admitting to anything, it's just a piece of paper that says that you don't have the permits anymore, and the state says, fine, great,
Yeah.
you know, no problem. And, you know, we could have, you know, we could produce the language for him, and
Right.
all he has to do is come in and sign it and have, you know, notarized, so it would take 5 minutes.
Right.
So tell them it's just one small step, and
For us
And-
to get
and-
our half money back.
and frankly, it's the town's own fault that he has to do this, because he did have the permits, you
Yep.
know, but the form got delayed, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, if he,
Things got misplaced.
if he could grant us this one small,
I'll talk to him and see.
tell him it would just put a bow on the whole thing, and
Okay.
it would be done with.
He's been actually good with me.
Oh, I know, yeah, I like Jay very much, and
Yeah.
I think he's shown extraordinary patience with all this stuff.
Oh my God. More than I
And,
would.
and I also really understand him digging into his heels and saying, enough, you know, I've done enough, I filed all these papers, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I don't want him to get another phone call from Bert. And Bert's a sweet guy.
Yeah.
Bert's a wonderful guy. And you know, I don't want Bert to have to call him and say, come on, Jay, just sign the damn thing. See what you can,
Okay.
you know.
And if I can't get through to him, I will call Jen. I think I'm gonna-
Yeah.
And
See if
see
there's some
what
other
else
way
we
around.
can
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Have you talked to Jen yet?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Jen's the.
No, I've been busy.
States
With work.
Okay. Well, public input. And we all are aware of the upcoming events, and you're set for Candidates Night.
Yeah.
I am going to make every effort possible to be here.
It would be nice.
Well, it's,
When's Canada's night?
Saturday.
6:30.
Saturday night. And,
Yeah, because the rummage sales in the morning, right, from 9 to 3.
one reason why I've been so,
It's this Sunday then.
yeah,
Yeah.
at 6:30. One reason I've been so crunched lately is that this weekend is the Farm and Forest Exposition down in Manchester, and it's a big deal for the organization I work
okay.
for. And there is the Saturday, it does go on Saturday, but it closes at 4 on Saturday, but I gotta take down the booth, and I gotta drop off some stuff, and I gotta come here and feed the animals, so
Well, I think it's
I
what,
mean-
6:30 to
7:30 or something.
7:30 or 8, I think.
7:30 or
They
All
should
right,
say-
so I may not get here until 7 or
Yeah, that's
something.
fine.
Okay. And I'm sorry to miss the rummage sale, but I'm going to miss
I'm
the
gonna be
rummage
working
sale.
too, so.
Okay. So yeah, I think it sounds good. You know, Larry and I had to do we had a debate,
Yes.
and
First one I've ever done in my life.
I've never done one. I'm not a debater.
I thought it was a pretty interesting event, and I asked Sherman then that last year, I said, are you gonna do that again? He goes, no.
Well,
Okay.
the Grange is doing it, so
Yeah.
she said, all we're gonna have to do is mingle. We don't have to give any speeches or anything like
Yeah.
that. She asked me first, I said, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
She says, yeah, well, I'm gonna talk to the other ones first. I
Okay.
said, okay, it's fine. So I will definitely be here with my shoes and my belt.
Yeah.
And my flyers.
If you're seriously wearing bells and taking pictures, are we posting it on the town
No,
Facebook?
that's just a figure of, no, I
I
know.
said if you're seriously.
No, I'm not seriously. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Looking forward
I
to it.
believe that was, I think that's actually it right there. That is the copies of the Bert's email, and that only thing that needs to be done on there is Artie's signature on the side.
Yeah.
Here, okay.
Here, I got you.
Okay.
And without that signature, I can't send that back in.
Okay.
And I did talk to NHMA, by the way, about the whole health officer issue. And I've talked to other towns as well. We used to have Broughton as a health officer.
Right.
That guy retired.
All right.
That being said, it goes where, everybody knows Larry as a health officer rep for whatever reason, that's what everybody has said. But the bottom line of it goes on the whole board. There is one rep out of the board that can go in, assess a problem, but then it's the whole board that needs to deal with the solution.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
again, you can, say he sees a problem, he goes, he discusses it with you guys. If you guys want to figure out a finalization of what needs to be done, you can call up, the health place or whatever to, health officers.
That's no
Wiggle it
different, that's no
around.
different than if we had a health officer, it would be the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Present the
And-
problem to the board.
that right there, the $35 payment that I've been holding on to
Yeah,
is for the health officer rep to attend or not attend, his choice, her choice, whomever. It's just it's not a state requirement, it is literally just a suggestion, like an organization, like the tax collector, the, whatnot, that they go to, that
Okay.
kind of thing.
well, there's like a training or something? once a
Yeah,
year?
once a year training, just like the tax collectors and
Okay.
town clerks do, and like when I go to, whatever, but that's, so it's a choice if you want to or not.
Okay,
Or whomever wants to go, or I can cancel out the check, it doesn't matter. I just need to know what I'm doing.
boy, I would really love to have a health officer rather, some individual be a health officer. I feel like each one of us has just got,
I mean, you can choose somebody from the town if they're
Yeah.
willing to do it. The guy at Rumney, we had Groton, but the guy in Rumney, I keep forgetting his name, I think it's Joe.
yeah,
That administrator, he said that they have this lady named Rebecca, but that they've always had her because she's ENS.
yeah. What is ENS?
Gosh, what did he tell me that was now? It deals with publications and stuff like that, with the health stuff and whatnot. So she has knowledge.
Okay,
So she, she's always been it, but that's why I guess we had Groton because of that.
Did you ever
That's why I've been lucky, that's because I'm not knowing all of them.
They-
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
go with
it's-
someone
it's
else.
that's why I'm hesitating too, is it's a
So
whole,
anybody-
it's a whole world of stuff.
Right,
It's septic violations and, rodents in the yard and, messed up houses and all that kind of stuff.
Appliances with doors on them.
Yeah, hazardous waste.
And places without water.
Yeah,
Places without water,
Right.
appliances with
Which-
doors outside.
yeah, it's all,
Animals,
right, it,
streams and stuff.
yeah, it's a whole,
Darn
Animals can be near streams that just can't ship. Just can't happen to water. That was the video.
That's all right. It's
Darn
what it
mice
is.
that get in-
Yeah, it is.
Darn mice that get into your Reese's peanut butter cups.
But, yeah, they just can't be around the water to
well,
use the bathroom.
I was just making a statement, I did talk to them, that's what Margaret, the lawyer, told me, that right there is just an organization, it's not something that is a requirement,
okay.
so,
Well,
but without a health officer, we do have a rep, and it does go on the whole board.
okay, all
Right,
right.
if there's a question, if somebody has a question, they can come to me and then we can figure out what to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
they go to you, and then you three can talk about it,
Okay,
and
So
call
what
the
they
state
will
for
follow the
finalization.
refrigerators, yeah.
Okay, all right,
That's what she did.
let's continue that way, but let's see if we can't come up with somebody who would be willing to be a health officer.
It could be pretty much, she didn't say they had to have any specifications, it's,
Right,
No, we just don't need someone that's gonna think they're a health officer and gonna,
No, because even
Give
them
them
being
a hard
health, as Margaret explained it to me, and rephrase in HMA, Margaret explained to me, whomever is the health officer still has to, that they're just a rep, they still gotta go to
Right.
the board, and it's still gonna go to
Right,
the state.
right,
So,
right,
it's just a
right.
circle.
but
Or at least be somebody with more knowledge and more time to pursue the knowledge
To assess the
of
problem.
Yeah.
the regulations and.
yeah, as Larry
There's a lot
points
of
out, there's a whole raft of regulations, of health regulations.
I
to
was
do.
reading those.
Too
Years
many
of
people
doing
living
school.
in one house, and, you get into some pretty murky legal stuff.
Right, I was gonna say you have to worry about liability for the
Yeah.
town.
Yeah, and, boy, off the top of my head, I'm not thinking of anybody who would have the necessary background to be a health officer, but, All right. Jeez. Okay, well, let's leave this one then, as it is.
so you want to board the check out, or you wanted to send the check in?
Oh, I can't send it in without somebody's name on it.
Right.
When's the class?
I'm not sure when the next class is, but that's an annual due, so whenever there is a class without the
Well,
annual
can
due.
the town just belong? Or does it have to be an individual?
I can ask,
That would probably put all three of us then.
I think they probably put all three of you in. If that's the case, it'd be 3 separate memberships.
Oh, okay, well, let's not do that. but, why don't you void out the check?
Okay.
All right, and then we can, you know, or is Larry, are you willing to have the membership in your name? Believe me, I understand any reluctance.
It's been on hold this long, I mean, he can, and that's a,
Okay.
so just put the check on hold and then Larry will let me know whether I'm canceling it or not, okay.
Okay. All right, there's that.
And they'll be at the office so I can read through it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, is there anything else?
I'm thinking, you had a lot on.
I know.
I don't.
Yeah, well, the situation with Jay.
To get the time logs.
I'll check with them tomorrow.
The alarm is on, the alarm is
Yeah,
tabled.
Also, fire extinguishers.
Yeah, that'd be great, and if, you know, just stuff.
Is any of that stuff missing, the stuff that was
Underlined.
signed,
Yeah.
or do I have all the stuff that was signed?
Does.
You have everything that needed to be signed.
Okay. So,
All right.
I don't.
oh, and I believe there's a grant, Darlene was telling me about, I need to contact ADA.
American Dental Association?
No,
Americans for Disabilities Act.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, to get a
There's
grant?
grants out, because we're gonna need to put in a handicap bathroom in here.
Oh, you're kidding. Okay,
That's been put off for years,
okay. All right.
so I will try to find out how to go with this.
Okay.
You could just make a bigger, well, can't because the way the toilet is.
Yeah,
Could say make a bigger door, but
yeah.
It's gotta be so wide and so long
Right,
for
right,
wheelchairs.
yeah, and then you gotta worry about the historic district.
Yeah. Well,
To be approved from them too, right?
right.
Just changing the.
And I think that's when it's been put off, to be honest, or I can just not check into it,
Okay.
or
Check into it, see if there's.
table it.
No,
Okay,
no,
check into
it's,
it.
check into it. I mean, we need to be proactive on this kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know, as much of a headache as it is, we need to do it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
There's just so much stuff has just been kind of left on the stove in this town.
Or swept under the rug.
Yeah, for years and years and years, and I understand. You know, I mean, something comes up and you don't really want to deal with it. You go, well, kind of wait, but then it gets added to everything else, and you know, and now we're kind of at the point where
Everything's building up and making big expenses.
Right.
that exactly.
Doesn't want you to
But
care.
see,
You
with
know,
a grant,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we may have put in very little money, if any,
Well,
you know.
right. Well,
But if someone come in here in a wheelchair and couldn't get in that bathroom,
Yeah.
lawsuit city.
Yeah.
Could be, right?
Yeah, yeah, it could be.
Right.
But we're seeing it. We're seeing stuff like that in so many areas. I mean, we're really beginning to see it in the roads. I mean, the roads just
Yeah.
haven't been. You know, I'm not blaming any particular road agent
Right.
here. I mean, we just haven't. The town hasn't made the investment in roads
In years.
that it's needed to.
No, everything's been wanting to deteriorate, and the
Yeah,
problem is things that could have been saved cheaply.
Just
that's right.
It's like
I think
there should be a lot, some of there's a lot of roads that are still good that should be seal coated to keep them good.
I'll find out about that when I have a meeting with
That's
them
right.
about the tree.
So, you know,
But yeah, it is. It's a lot of stuff.
All we can do is tackle what we can.
Gradually,
Right.
at least we're making a little dent in it.
well, you break down big problems into little pieces.
Yeah.
And you can, you know, you manage little pieces. We have a big problem with the overall condition of the highway department.
Right.
But you break it down into pieces, and well, you know, equipment maintenance and repair, that's a piece we could.
That's a
deal
big-
with.
That's a must.
Big thing there that's
That's
important.
a must.
Yeah, that we can deal with,
Right.
yeah. And, you know,
But if we had to replace all the piece of equipment, because if we went out, look how much money that would be.
Yeah.
Lots of money.
That's right, that's right, and, you know, I don't know how in the long term we're going to address the condition of the roads, but we're gonna have to come up with something. And, you know,
So are we still thinking about putting in a warrant article to start a fund for the roads?
that,
Because we had said something at the previous.
yeah, that's right.
4,000 versus
20, yeah, and that isn't really part of the budget.
No,
Um,
that's just.
yeah,
That's where it goes, right?
right, let me,
It's where some of that money goes.
Right.
right, let me, yeah, I think we should.
At least it'll be a start.
It would be a start. I'm definitely in favor of that.
You know, so.
Okay.
I mean, in 3, 4 years, 5 years, maybe money have to take, do like one whole road,
Yeah,
Or a section of a road.
right,
or half of 2 roads,
Yeah.
yeah,
the major roads.
right.
But if you don't start, you're never gonna get there.
Nope.
That's right. That's,
Guys, we gotta crawl before we walk.
gotta find our feet before we can crawl.
That's true. That's very true.
Okay, gentlemen, anything